I unexpectedly discovered that my boyfriend of 4 years is married with children. A few days later, he came to me with a 3-year-old boy. Shirue. This is my mother's adopted grandson. As you know, my mother is old, and she wants him to be registered under our household registration. Are you willing? I glanced at the little boy whose facial features resembled my boyfriend, and then at my boyfriend standing in front of me. After a long while, I showed an understanding expression and a gentle smile. Okay, let's move the child's household registration here after we get the marriage certificate. When Wang Lei heard my answer, he was stunned for a moment. The half-provocative, half-tentative expression on his face just now disappeared. He laughed dryly in panic and said, "Sure, you can think about it again. You don't have to make a decision so quickly." I was surprised. I looked at him strangely. I can agree now, why do I still need to consider it? Before Wang Lei came, he obviously didn't think of the possibility that I would agree, so he didn't prepare what to say after I agreed. His face flushed and he hesitated for a while. He didn't think of what to say, so he just started to make trouble and didn't forget to threaten me with the marriage. Okay, Lin Shirue, you are really not satisfied with me. You agreed so readily. Since you don't care so much, there is no point in me getting married. Think about it carefully and go back to discuss it with your parents. After saying that, he didn't leave me time to speak and turned around and left. After all, he also knew that if we really want to be reasonable, he was the best at talking to me. Looking at his leaving back, I smiled non-committally. Wang Lei and I met through a blind date arranged by our parents. At that time, my career was on the rise and I was fed up with being urged by my parents. I had no interest in romance. I just wanted to be a tool, so it would be fine if I was slightly suitable. So I met Wang Lei and thought he looked okay and was in the same industry, so I agreed. If nothing else, at least it could shut my parents up, and I didn't have to spend time and energy to deal with them after exhausting work. After the relationship was confirmed, we were both busy with work and didn't have much time to meet. Wang Lei wouldn't be too cruel either, which was something I was particularly satisfied with. I even had an overseas assignment for 2 years. He never expressed dissatisfaction or stopped me. We lived in such an ordinary and non-interference way for several years. Until my career stabilized this year, I had less time to go out, and under the urging of my parents we agreed to get married, and the wedding date was set for 2 months later. Everything that should be prepared was almost ready, and relatives and friends were also notified, but I found out 3 days ago that my fiancé was actually married with children. When I first got the news, the first thought in my mind was shock. Oh my god, what a wonderful melon. You know, although I often see all kinds of stories about scumbag men and resentful women, and weird mothers-in-law on the internet, in reality, it is really the first time I have encountered such a this is a family with all 5 evils, and I am just a little bit away from becoming a part of this family in 2 months. In the words of my good friend comrade Li Yunfei, this is an epic nightmare. I video chatted with Li Yunfei at night, and after he scolded Wang Lei, he asked if I really planned to tell your parents, saying that they are all choosing a dowry car, right? I answered while applying a facial mask, and he said of course he would tell them, but the time is not right yet. According to my parents' personalities, if I tell them now, the most they will do is get angry and then cancel the engagement. Maybe later they will start arranging new blind dates for me. I have been cheated for 4 years, spent a lot of money and worn green hats a lot, but the scumbag's family has not been punished, and I have to go back to being cheated by my parents. The situation of being urged to get married, if it is really like this, even Mary will praise me as a model of the Virgin Mary, but I don't want to be a Virgin Mary. How is the thing I asked you to do before? I asked Li Yunfei, don't worry, it must be done. You can come to my unit to get it tomorrow. I have to report to the unit after I come back tomorrow. Okay, I will come to find you tomorrow. The next day I arrived at the coffee shop downstairs of Li Yunfei's unit. He was already there. And there was a man sitting next to him. This is the only son of our big boss. Recently he is working as a photographer in the grassroots. This time he helped to shoot the video, so I called him to join after. Listening to the introduction, the man gave Li Yunfei a helpless look, then turned back to look at me, stretched out his hand. Hello, Liang Song. I shook hands with him and introduced myself. After we got to know each other, we got down to business. Liang Song turned on his computer, clicked on a video and handed it to me. The video showed a little boy in ragged clothes, sitting alone on the cement floor of the living room, holding an album in his hand. He flipped the camera and got closer, taking many close-ups of the photos, so the faces of the family of 3 in the photos were particularly clear. The man and the little boy were a copy and paste of Wang Lei and Lei who stood in front of me yesterday, except that Lei in the photo looked younger. Then an old man appeared in the camera. Not surprisingly, Wang Lei's mother had the same face, and even the clothes he was wearing were the same. A piece of clothing which was the birthday gift I bought for him last year, but now in order to make himself look more shabby, there are several holes and stains on his clothes. The queen mother walked to the stool next to Lei and sat down, and began to tell. Lei is a child with a hard life. His mother is from a village near us, and has been with my son since high school. My son rarely comes back during the winter and summer vacations in college because of him, and he works to earn money for him. He is a dishonest person. After my son graduated, he found a good job, and he used all his salary to buy clothes and cosmetics. He dressed up like a weirdo every day. My son is an honest person. He always said that the hoof had really wanted to be with him for so many years, so he just went along with it. After we had a child, we got married. That little bitch stopped pretending. After the child was born, she asked for money all day long. My savings were all cheated away by her. When the child was a little over 1 year old, that little bitch hooked up with a rich old man, took all the money in the family, and ran away with him. She didn't even want the child. We couldn't even walk steadily when we fell down. We lost our mother, and all the money in the family was taken away by her. My father had to work to provide for our family, so he had to stay with me, an old woman, as a left-behind child in the village. When this happened, our family of honest people could only accept their fate, but one by one we suffered. Never mind, the child has a hard life and doesn't know what to do in the future. At the end, she wiped away non-existent tears and looked extremely pitiful. This shameless old woman should really tear off her face and see what it is made of. How can she be so thick? Li Yunfei, who was sitting next to me, watched the video with me and started to curse again. I patted him and said, "You have seen the scene. Why are you still so angry after watching a video? This family has deceived you into this. How can I not be angry? If you hadn't told me not to alert the enemy, I would have rushed up to him and slapped him twice." Seeing his appearance, I was moved and couldn't help but sigh. As expected, you are still a sister. Sister, be reliable. Men are worse than dogs. Hearing this, Liang Song got anxious. Don't hurt anyone by mistake. Not all men are scumbags. He looked at Li Yunfei and didn't say anything because he helped a lot. He just cooperated with him perfunctorily with Tun. And yes. Liang Song saw that we were in this state and there was nothing he could do. He shook his head helplessly and said to send the video to me. After I thanked them again, I made an appointment to treat them to dinner next time. Liang Song immediately said that he must have a big meal to comfort his injured heart. I readily agreed. Let alone a big meal, even if I paid for their big meals for a month, I would have no objection. After all, if it weren't for them, I would still be kept in the dark by Wang Lei's family. It was very dramatic that this matter was discovered. Li Yunfei is a reporter. A while ago, their unit planned a program to go into the countryside. Li Yunfei went to the village where Wang Lei's hometown was. At that time, Li Yunfei and Liang Song were shooting special materials. They happened to see Lei Lei playing under a tree. He didn't think much about it at first. He took a photo and sent it to me, jokingly saying, "Isn't this little boy a bit like your future husband? He's so cute. Maybe my godson will be like this in the future. But he will definitely be cuter." I was busy that day and didn't see the news until the evening. I thought it was funny at first and thought it was too early to call him your godson. But when I clicked on the big picture, I couldn't laugh for a moment. In the photo, besides a little boy who looked very much like Wang Lei, there was an old woman in the corner. Li Yunfei didn't know her, and I didn't take it seriously, but I recognized it as Wang Lei's mother at a glance. I always have a premonition about bad things, and Li Yunfei is not that familiar with Wang Lei. He just thinks he looks like her, but I have seen photos of Wang Lei when he was a child. This little boy and him are more than just alike. I can say that they are carved from the same mold. My mind was confused for a while, but I quickly reacted and called Li Yunfei. I know Wang's mother well. He raised Wang Lei alone in the early years and suffered a lot, so he regarded money as the most important thing. I asked Li Yunfei to deliberately go to the vicinity of Wang's house tomorrow and pretend in front of Wang's mother that the unit has a left-behind children funding plan, and as long as you shoot a small documentary, you can participate in the quota election. If you are selected, you can get a one-time subsidy of 50,000. Sure enough, the next day when Li Yunfei went there and said it, Wang's mother took the initiative to find her. After listening to Li Yunfei's retelling that day, I was shocked, angry and scared. Wang Lei and I were in a blind date 4 years ago to confirm our relationship. Now the child is 3 years old. That is to say, when we started the blind date, Wang Lei was already with the child's mother. In the first year of our relationship, we have a child and are married. No wonder Wang Lei doesn't cling to me and never minds my overseas assignments and frequent business trips. I thought he was more focused on work like me and that blind dates were just about finding someone to live with and deal with the feelings of the elders. The fact is that the other party already has a family. I feel guilty about being assigned overseas for a long time, and can only make up for it with money and gifts. When they were mother and son, he was actually living a warm family life with a wife and children. Although I am not sure why the mother and son of the Wang family did this for the time being. As a victim of marriage fraud, I must vent my anger. I'll ask someone to help me check whether Wang Lei's current marriage registration status is still pending. Married, after getting the answer that he was indeed married, I sneered. I was worried that I could only teach him a lesson on the moral and social levels, which was a bit too easy for him. Now that he is obviously married and wants to talk about marriage with me, then considering that he wants to commit bigamy so much, of course I have to agree. It's all his fault. So the next day I took the initiative to go to his house, pretending to be afraid of being broken off. Auntie, you also know how much my parents want me to get married soon. Now many relatives have also been notified. What Wang Lei said yesterday was so hurtful. How can I explain to my parents? And I also want you to be happy, so I agreed to let Lei be registered under our household registration in the future. Who knew that he would be angry? I have to talk to him in detail. Originally, Wang's mother heard Wang Lei say yesterday that because he said I scolded him a few words, she was worried that I would go to my parents to discuss suspending the marriage in a rage. But now seeing that I am so humble and worried about being broken off, she is putting on airs again. Xiaorui, you also know that our Wang Lei is used to being the boss of the company. He has his own ideas. He may not listen to what I say. Moreover, although you agreed to let Lei register his household registration, you can't tell when you will get the marriage certificate. I almost laughed out loud when I heard this. Wang's mother knew that Wang Lei and I were in the same company, but I don't know how Wang Lei boasted to his family. He actually dared to show off in front of me that Wang Lei was the boss. In fact, Wang Lei and I are both project directors of the company. The revenue of his project is at the bottom every year, and the annual income can only catch up with 1/5 of my project at most. People in our company joke that there are only useless people who can't help themselves, but they have never made any mistakes. What a big mistake he made to be assigned to that project, but fortunately, he made it to the position of project director. Our company has a rule that executives cannot have family relations, so if we want to get the certificate, one of us must resign. The Wang family mother and son certainly hope that I will get pregnant first, and then resign after maternity leave, then we can get the certificate, but I have always disagreed. I have to get the certificate before I can have the baby. However, I have to resign to get the certificate, and it is impossible for me to leave, so it has been stuck here. After the final discussion, we thought about having the wedding first and talking about getting the certificate later. Now that Wang's mother mentioned this, I immediately took the opportunity to say that indeed, getting the certificate cannot be realized for the time being. How about this, Auntie? I pretended to be flattering. You see, our wedding in 2 months will be held here. There are many relatives in my hometown who cannot come. You will definitely feel regretful. I thought it is better for us to go to my hometown specifically and hold a simple. How could I have known that? I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. I thought to myself, I'm going to have a wedding with you. A month later, in the following few days, I went to Wang's house every day on the pretext of negotiating the wedding. Wang's mother thought I was worried about breaking off the engagement, so she was rushing to do so, and she was even more dissatisfied with me. I didn't take it seriously. After a few days I got what I wanted, so I stopped going. So these two bastards in the Wang family wanted to make a fortune, so they cheated me into marriage. After listening to the recording in my house, Li Yunfei frowned so much that he could kill a fly. I shrugged my shoulders and I was too lazy to even get angry. This was what I meant by listening to their conversation. I went to Wang's house these few days ostensibly for the wedding, but it was just to change the recorder. I left a recorder at Wang's house from the first day I arrived, and in order not to waste time I would go to change it every day. In addition to the recorder, there was also the WeChat logged in on Wang Lei's tablet, and I also found his chat records with Lei's mother in it. Through these two things I finally pieced together the story of Wang's mother. He thought that as long as Yu Mengmeng gave birth to a son, Wang's mother would definitely recognize Yu Mengmeng for the sake of her grandson. But he didn't expect that Wang's mother would show off to his aunt and uncle when she got home, and that she had found a daughter-in-law in the city. Wang Lei had money and was an only child. Then, because of what his aunt said, will not all the woman's money belong to your family in the future? Wang's mother had the idea of eating up the whole family. 1 year later, even though Yu Mengmeng gave birth to a son, Wang's mother still refused to agree to the two of them being together, and told her son about her idea of eating up the whole family. At that time, Yu Mengmeng was spending money lavishly, and Wang Lei had basically no savings. After listening to his mother's words, he was moved. He thought that anyway my family didn't have a son, and I, a woman, couldn't continue the incense. The family's money would eventually go to other men. Instead of giving it to others, why not give it to him? Originally we were boyfriend and girlfriend and it was also legitimate. Later, after Yu Mengmeng abandoned him and left with someone else, he felt even more at ease. This time they brought Lei to me. They also wanted me to oppose, and then stand on the moral high ground to accuse me, and then threaten my parents with breaking off the engagement, and let them persuade me together. Their calculations were very successful. There was a clattering sound, which could not only pave the way for the child and allow him to inherit my property legitimately in the future, but also make me feel a sense of crisis and agree to have a baby as soon as possible. After all, in their opinion, as long as I was pregnant and had a child, they would control me for the sake of the child. Even Wang's mother said that she might not be in good health after giving birth and might not live long. Wang Lei's silence after listening to this also showed his attitude. I didn't expect that the mother and son could be so whimsical. I couldn't help laughing after listening to it. I sent the recording to Li Yunfei and Fei saying, "All these things are in your hands. I look forward to reporter Li's report." Li Yunfei's hideous smile was a must. I would definitely not waste such wonderful material of theirs. Soon it was the day to hold the wedding in Wang Lei's hometown. The main purpose of my trip was to flatter the mother and son of the Wang family and satisfy Wang's mother's vanity. I deliberately put on the attitude of a good wife and mother to let everyone in the village know I have been dating Wang Lei for 4 years. We have a great relationship. I praise Wang's mother for her kindness. When she saw a child who looked like Wang Lei in an orphanage, she adopted him and loved him like her own grandson. She praised Wang Lei for being honest and family-oriented, and for never messing around with other women. Wang's mother was the same. She boasted to everyone how good her son's job was, how he had bought a house in the city, and how he found a good partner. She paid 500,000 yuan for the decoration alone, and also wanted a 400,000 yuan car as a dowry. Most importantly, she didn't ask for a high price for the bride price. People in the village are like this. By comparing the quality of the partner, you can see whether the son has a promising future. I was happy to cooperate. After all, the more proud Wang's mother is now, the greater the backlash he will suffer when the truth is revealed. I filmed all of this on the pretext of shooting a wedding documentary, and found a follow-up photographer to shoot it. I packaged it all and sent it to Li Yunfei as material. Up to now, the materials and evidence to be collected have caught fire. So the banquet, as soon as it was over, I left overnight with a sentence saying I had something to do. The next day after I got home, I went to my parents' house, but I didn't expect that after I told them everything, my parents' first reaction was not to believe it. My father even accused me angrily, saying that just because you didn't want to get married, you made up such a story to deceive us. We have been worried about your marriage over the years. You haven't married your daughter at the age of 30. Do you know how many people have criticized us? It is indeed wrong for their family to bring a child to you to raise, but you can discuss it if you don't agree. As for trying to cancel the engagement as soon as you heard it, I think you are just not satisfied. You have been urging you to get revenge on us. Who are you urging you to get married for? It's all for your own good. You are trying to force me. I will not be ashamed to face my ancestors when I die. Although my mother didn't say anything, I can see from her expression that she and my father have the same idea. I didn't have any sympathy for them in the first place. What expectations? You won't feel disappointed offline. Whether it's made up or not, you will know when you watch the news later. I'm just telling you now that the wedding in a month will not be possible. If you don't want to waste more money, you should explain to the relatives, refund the gifts, and don't buy the car. Seeing that I was so calm and said so absolutely, my mother didn't care about being angry anymore and started to panic. What you said was true. What good would it do me if I lied to you? Anyway, I have already informed you, and it is your business to make the decision. My parents finally believed what I said. My mother was angry and resentful and began to cry. When Wang Lei's mother came to us, she said such nice things. Wang Lei looked good and had a decent job. Now we know they are from the same family. What kind of people are like this? God, what sin have we committed to meet a family of scumbags? My father was calmer in comparison. He was calm. Mo finished smoking a cigarette and asked me if I was going to make a big deal out of it. I nodded, of course. How could I let them get what they deserved if I didn't make a big deal out of it? My dad frowned. If you make a big deal out of it, everyone will know that you've had a wedding with someone else. How can you get married in the future? I looked at my parents and didn't know what to say for a moment. In fact, they have been good to me since I was a child. Our family conditions are okay. They would satisfy me with whatever I want. It's just that they started urging me to get married when I graduated from college. I have said this before. I have made a big fuss and quarreled with them, but there was no way to change their minds. It was as if someone had given them some instructions. As long as I didn't get married, they wouldn't have a good life. Looking at their aged faces, I finally didn't quarrel with them. I looked at them in silence, just like they had tolerated me when I was a child and was naive. I said calmly, Mom and Dad, you are my parents. When I won't keep working hard to meet your expectations, because I am still an independent individual, I have tried to give up some of my personal happiness to satisfy their idea of wanting me to get married, but the final result was not satisfactory. Since I have tried my best, I will no longer feel guilty, and I will not keep compromising. After I left overnight, the mother and son of the Wang family finally discovered something unusual. From the next day, they took turns calling me a lot, but I didn't answer any of them. Finally, I got annoyed and blocked them all. A few days later, Wang Lei finally couldn't bear it anymore and came directly to my project. I was well prepared and had been wearing sick makeup for the past few days. I looked very haggard. My colleagues asked me several times if I was sick. Now that Wang Lei finally came to my door, I took on this haggard look and questioned him at the front desk where people were most likely to pass by. Is that child really adopted by your mother? Do you dare to say that it has nothing to do with you? Although we cannot openly disclose our relationship due to company regulations. After all, we are in a relationship. I have been working in the company for 4 years, and my colleagues are more or less aware of the situation. When Wang Lei heard me ask this, he was a little panicked at first, but when he thought about so many people hearing it, his image would be ruined if he didn't explain it clearly. Of course, it has nothing to do with me. I said that my mother adopted the child from an orphanage. Then he started to turn the tables. Lin Shuiwei, I didn't expect you to be such a vicious person. My mother is kind-hearted. If you don't want to recognize the adopted child, then forget it. We won't force you. But you actually wanted to say that the child is mine in order to raise the bride price. When you couldn't get what you wanted, you turned around and left at the wedding, leaving so many relatives of our family hanging there. It's people like you who treat marriage as a business, and only think about making money that have corrupted the social atmosphere. Wang Lei's words were righteous and well-reasoned. Some people have already believed him, especially some men who felt the same way. The way they looked at me became a little strange. Now some women just want to cheat. Getting married only after paying the bride price is not the same as selling your daughter. I didn't expect that he was this kind of person. Before I could say a few more words, Li Yunfei walked directly into the hall, followed by Liang Song carrying a camera. Stop talking nonsense. If you can't afford to get married, just reflect on yourself. Why are you so incompetent? You just want to marry a free laborer home without spending a penny every day to wash your clothes, cook for you and give birth to your children. You love to get things for free, so when you go out and mess around, don't you also like to pay? Li Yunfei was full of energy when he came and he output a lot. The girls who felt uncomfortable after hearing those words just now also quickly agreed, pointing at the two men who talked the most and mocked them. It's a pity that my character today is a victim, and I have to play a sad, fragile and poor woman. Li Yunfei didn't care about those who were not involved, and directly put the microphone in front of Wang Lei. Mr. Wang, you have been dating your current girlfriend for 4 years, but you have a 3-year-old son with another woman. Is this true? In the case of being married and having children, holding a wedding with another girl, do you know that you have committed bigamy? Wang Lei was startled by the sudden question, glanced at me guiltily, turned around and pushed Li Yunfei's microphone away, and scolded him in a strong but weak manner, asking where you were from and what nonsense you were talking about here. Believe it or not, I will sue you for defamation. Li Yunfei looked very surprised. Don't you know that your marriage fraud has been exposed on the internet, and there is also an interview with your mother in it? As he said this, he turned around and greeted the onlookers. Everyone can have a look. Search for hot topics about marriage fraud on a certain blog. That one is Wang Lei. Feeling guilty and suspicious, he quickly took out his mobile phone to open a certain blog. One of the introductions was, he is married and has children, but continues to look for girls for blind dates and marriage. Why does a scumbag risk bigamy to deceive marriage? The long article has been forwarded and commented on thousands of times, and the data is still growing. The long article contains an interview video with Wang's mother. The children in the video are mosaicked, and the photo of the family of 3 only leaves a clear picture for the man. On the other hand, there are also recorded footage from the wedding in my hometown, including clips of Wang Mu talking about the decoration fee, dowry car and betrothal gift, as well as my promise to add the grandson adopted by my mother-in-law to my household registration book. The clip even considerately organizes the timelines of both sides into a table and pastes it in the article. Finally, after the reporter's visit, he sorted out the motives and storylines of the scumbag's family for defrauding marriage and told them in the form of text, and attached a voice clip contributed anonymously by netizens. It was exactly what Wang Mu said, that her family only has 1 daughter, and it is possible that a woman will not live long if she is in poor health after giving birth. After reading it, Wang Lei's face turned pale in an instant. He didn't even dare to stay here for a second. He pushed away the camera that Liang Song was still shooting at him and walked out. His footsteps were so fast that it seemed like someone was chasing him for his life. As Wang Lei left the scene, the onlookers also finished reading the long article one after another, and their eyes turned into sympathy when they looked at me. Some familiar colleagues came to comfort me, but I still maintained the image of a weak victim until I left the company and walked to the side of the road. Then I put away my bitter expression and sighed. Alas, acting is not an easy job. I almost broke my nails to prevent myself from ruining my performance. Li Yunfei patted me on the back and said, "Stop joking. What are you going to do next?" "I have an appointment with a lawyer and I need to go to the law firm." I rubbed my wrists and made a gesture of rubbing my hands together. As a good law-abiding citizen, since I have evidence of Wang Lei's bigamy, How can I not respond to the call of the law and bring him to justice? Liang Song took the photo. I put the camera in the trunk and walked over and said, "Let's go. I'll drive you there." By the evening, the marriage fraud incident had become popular, and there were tens of thousands of comments. I have a client who is a big internet celebrity with 20 million fans. He helped to repost the article and the popularity soared. It soon became a hot search. Under the long article were all comments condemning the scumbag and his mother. What a scumbag, getting married and having children while dating and having a love affair. It's amazing. The scumbag's behavior has constituted bigamy. Can the woman sue him? They, mother and son, even want to marry their own child. The son is registered under the woman's household registration. This is not just a marriage fraud. This is an attempt to wipe out the entire family. Combined with the last sentence, it is definitely an attempt to wipe out the entire family. And there is even the idea of harming others. It is too vicious. Are there any good men in this world? How come I can meet a new scumbag every day when I turn on my phone? This can also be called a gender attack. The queen mother in the story is not a woman. Why does she only scold men? Both mother and son are not good people. At night, I was lying on the sofa, enjoying the wonderful comments from netizens, and then I received a call from my parents. I thought they were here to persuade me. I didn't expect them to say that they could make a scene in Wang Lei's hometown. I was indeed planning to hire a few people in a few days to go with me to Wang Lei's hometown village to make a scene. For Wang's mother, she has always cared about the hardships she had suffered in her early years, so she always wanted to show off in front of the villagers how well she is living now. Even if there is a big fuss on the internet, it will not have much impact on Wang's mother. She only cares about two things, the first of which is the face in her hometown. So no matter how my parents think about it, if they are willing to do this, it is certainly better than. It would be more efficient for me to do it myself. Sure enough, within 2 days, I heard that my parents brought a group of relatives and friends and went straight to Wang Lei's hometown. They beat drums and gongs at the door of his house, attracted all the villagers, and then wept and exposed the evil deeds of Wang's family and marriage fraud. With my previous preparations, my parents produced evidence and told the people at the scene one by one. The villagers believed it effortlessly. Wang Lei's mother wanted to chase people away with a broom and swear, but before my relatives could do anything, they were stopped by their own villagers, who also helped. My family said, "Don't forget to pay the renovation fee." Wang's mother was so angry that she could only go into the house and close the door. No one called her to come out. Later, I learned that my parents had read the long article sent by Li Yunfei, and saw directly how the mother and son of the Wang family deceived us, and how they wanted to make our family extinct. They were so angry that they couldn't eat. They felt guilty about me but didn't know what to do, so they wanted to do something within their ability to solve the problem with Wang's mother. Then it was Wang Lei's turn. And this was the second thing that Wang's mother feared the most. The heat of the marriage fraud incident continued to ferment. 2 days later, Wang Lei received after receiving the company's dismissal letter. He came to my house angrily and asked, "Lin Shiwei, what do you want? You have ruined my reputation and even my mother can't stay in my hometown. Isn't that enough? You still want to ruin my job?" I looked at him calmly. He looked at me with a look of, "What are you talking about?" After he went crazy. The answer was of course not enough. It's not enough that you cheated me of money and marriage, and you still want to step on my life. How can this retribution be enough? Wang Lei finally calmed down and looked at me warily. "What do you mean?" I pretended to be surprised. "Why haven't you received the court's notice yet?" "Subpoena?" He also kindly reminded me, "Then you have to check what bigamy is first so that you can be mentally prepared after being sentenced." Wang Lei was really panicked now and even stuttered. "How could it be wrong? I haven't married you yet, it can't be considered bigamy." "How can it not be considered bigamy? Do you think that I work so hard to go to your hometown and spend money to hold a wedding banquet just to collect gifts? It's not that only after getting the certificate twice that it is considered bigamy. As long as there is evidence to prove that we are in a de facto marriage, how can it not be considered a de facto marriage with so many relatives and friends attending the wedding banquet?" "You said so, right?" After hearing this, Wang Lei felt as if he was in a glacier in snow, stiff and unable to move. After a long while, he reacted and knelt in front of me. "Xiaorui, we have been together for 4 years. You must have feelings for me. Am I right or wrong?" I really know I was wrong. I was just greedy and brainwashed by my mother. Please let me go this time for the sake of our 4 years of relationship. I will return the decoration money and the money for the last wedding to you. I can also give you any amount of money you want. Please withdraw the lawsuit, please. Once you go in, my life will be over. At the end, Wang Lei was almost crying and begging me. It's a pity. I said it long ago that I don't like to be a saint, so I smiled. Of course you need to pay me back the money, but you also need to sit in this prison. After all, if I hadn't been lucky and found out before the marriage, my life would be over. Later, Wang Lei was sentenced to 1.5 years. The time was not long, but it was enough for him to live with this stain for the rest of his life. It's bad that Wang's mother still stayed in her hometown. There was basically no one cared about him. Even his family members were concerned about their reputation and were reluctant to associate with him. After all, people seek profit and avoid harm. The mother and son of the Wang family were so scheming that they deceived the people in the city for so many years. Who knows if they were telling lies in the village? I don't know how many people they deceived behind the scenes. Wang Lei's house loan was terminated and the house was taken back by the bank. Wang's mother had nowhere to go except her hometown. No matter how sad she was, she could only stay here. I was quickly promoted from project director to partner. I no longer had to run around with projects. I was more often at the headquarters. I was at work, and when things were almost over, I finally had time to fulfill my promise and took Li Yunfei and Liang Song out for a big meal. During the meal, Li Yunfei asked in confusion, "In fact, I still can't figure it out. Why didn't the scumbag divorce you Meng and dare to marry you? He is really so ignorant of the law and greedy. He thinks he can divorce you Meng at any time and then get the certificate from me. It was also because Yu Mengmeng saw the news on the internet and came back to pick up the music that I knew the more complete story. Yu Mengmeng said that he did meet someone else at the beginning, but he didn't take away the family. He did not want to divorce Wang Lei, and wanted to take the child with him, but Wang Lei was unwilling to do so. Wang's mother was even more unwilling to let her grandson be taken away. So in the end, Yu Mengmeng left a signed divorce agreement and left alone. Wang Lei always felt that Yu Mengmeng was just deceived by another man for a while. He had been in love with Yu Mengmeng for so many years, and he would definitely come back, so he was unwilling to sign the divorce agreement. He also felt that even if I want to get the marriage certificate with him, he has the agreement signed by Yu Mengmeng so they can get a divorce at any time. It's an outrageous and ridiculous idea, but the parties involved don't notice it, and still think they have everything under their control. Forget it, let's not talk about this scumbag. Li Yunfei ended the topic he brought up himself. What are your plans for the future? Are your uncle and aunt urging you? They haven't urged you yet, but from my understanding of them, it's just a matter of time. They will urge you in the future. So depressing. Li Yunfei sighed and became curious. Do you want to fall in love yourself? Do you plan to get married in the future? No, I don't really care. Let it go. If you meet someone you want to talk to, then talk to him. If you don't meet him, then don't talk to him. Li Yunfei nodded in approval and gave her a sister who said, I understand. Liang Song, who had been acting as a background board next to him, suddenly spoke up. What if there is someone now? I said hi and interrupted him in a natural tone. Now, even if the King of Heaven comes, it won't work. Anyway, there is no one I want to talk to now. What's more, I just jumped out of a fire pit. I'll talk about it when I'm cool enough. Li Yunfei held the wine glass and knew later I realized that something seemed a little wrong, but of course he stood by my sister unconditionally, so he held out his glass and clinked it with mine, saying that you are right, sister, you are rich and have a career now, you are free and easy, don't get involved with stinky men. Seeing this, Liang Song was silent for 2 seconds, then shook his head and smiled helplessly. He also held up his glass and clinked it with mine, saying that I wish Sharaway to stay away from stinky men, and being happy is the most important thing. I smiled when I heard that. People can't treat themselves badly in their lives. I lived to meet worldly expectations for the first 30 years, and after 30 I just had to do what I wanted.